Hi everyone, Angus Campbell here. Sunday the 16th of January 2022. Well, it's about time we cracked on with a bit of a stable update and plans for 2022. A bit later than planned, but that's because I've been busy undertaking some planning for this year, but also getting some brownie points and getting up to date with some jobs around the house, etc. So let's get back into the garage after a 2-week break following the new year, and I'll take you around and let you know what's going on. Also, we've got a bit of a new toy to play with that was bought for me for birthday stroke Christmas by the kids, and that is you're all set up on a gimbal. So I don't know whether this'll work or not, but anyway, we've got a bit of a toy to play with, and as you can see, I'm not very proficient at it just yet. There we go, you might be able to see it now. And there we go back. So let's spin you around by the magic. Right, that's spun you around, and we're at the far end of the garage because we'll start with the show Fury here. So nothing to do to this bike, but plans for this year are that we'll hopefully take it to a show or two, and also as I mentioned in one of my community posts, then what we want to try and do is to trace the model that posed with this bike for the publicity shots in the autumn of 1970. Now, this bike was built on the 6th of November 1970, and for those that don't know, it's show only, so there are no engine internals on this, but this was the bike used at the UK official launch at the Royal Lancaster Hotel on the 10th of November 1970, and the photos of the publicity photos of the model with this bike were done sometime around then, but I'm not sure whether it was between the build date and the 10th of November, which is only 4 days or so, or whether it was afterwards. I don't think the publicity photo in question was necessarily available at the launch. There were other photos available of the models, and particularly the set of photos of a Triumph Bandit with Carol Cleveland and Tony Lomas, but I don't think necessarily that the model in question, Karen Young, with this bike was available then. But anyway, it's certainly autumn. The photos were taken. You can see in the background in the woods where they were taken, there's no leaves on the trees, but it's got to be around about that sort of time scale. So we want to try and do to reunite the two of them if possible. I don't know whether that's going to be the case, but we'll have a go anyway, and so we'll set some requests in motion through YouTube and possibly other social media to do that. So certainly we hope to have this this bike out and about at some point this year. So we'll just keep looking, keeping it spick and span, really. The next one that's still here is Tony Page's Triumph Bandit SS. Sorry, I haven't got some very good views of it from here because they're all a bit crammed in at the moment. But the reason we have this here at the moment is we've still borrowed its auto advantage unit, which is on the Fury SS up on the bench there at the moment, as we're hopefully going to have some patterns available this year that we can replace that with. But I am tempted to possibly return this to Tony at some point because we'll need the garage space, and I'll come on to the reasons for that in a moment. Next thing, next bike, the A70. So with respect to this bike, not much to do really, other than give it a bit of a post shakedown service. The last video on this was with respect to proving that we had decent oil pressure, and we probably need to do some more tests to make sure that that's still the case when we've got up to full operating temperature, which wasn't the case. But other than that, what we hope to do this year is as well as show it like the other bikes, also get some miles on this. Now there are a couple of jobs to do on this bike though, so let me take you over to the bench, and hopefully, you know, the gimbal will make sure you don't get seasick. So first thing is, at one of the events we attended last year, let's see if we can do this the right way around. Now then, there we go, that's better. At one of the events we attended last year, that was the vintage weekend at Cadwell Park at the end of September. There was plenty of visitors to the two bikes that I took, which were the A70 and the Lightning and the E35 SS Fury. And what somebody commented upon that was the fact that the two clocks that I'd fitted were pattern ones, and as you can see they don't have the Smiths logo in them, and that's absolutely correct. And the reason for that is that when I purchased this bike in Estate, there were no clocks on it, so I couldn't get the original clocks refurbished. Anyway, what I've managed to find recently are a pair of refurbished original clocks, and they weren't too badly priced either. So we've invested in these, and I'm going to fit these onto the Lightning. Maybe a little bit anal, but you know, I like originality where possible. So we'll get these fitted and sell the other ones off. The other thing is that what you also may remember is when I fitted this pattern rear mudguard, that wasn't very clever either. Quite a poor fit, and we had to manipulate it quite heavily, putting it mildly, to get it to fit. But the bike did come with its original rear mudguard, which has been painted and was in poor condition. However, the fabric of it was okay. So what I did do last year was, at the same time I got the exhausts chromed on the Fury SS, was I got the original mudguard on the A70 re-chromed as well, because it wasn't pitted and it was in pretty good nick. It was just painted a god-awful sort of olive green colour. It was bizarre. Anyway, that's come out really well, so we're going to fit its original rear mudguard as well. Right, back on the stool. So that's the Lightning. So we'll do a couple of jobs. The back mudguard, you know, might be a bit fiddly, but we should be able to get at it okay. And then we'll aim to get some miles on it, so we can make sure she's reliable, and also as well get her around the one or two shows if we can. Right, on to the old Rocket 3. Now this has been my regular runner for 2 or 3 years really, and although it does run well, then when we were doing the filming of the riding for the Classic Motorcycle channel video, then we noticed that at high speed she's blowing quite a lot of smoke from the right hand exhaust. I think it was the right hand one anyway, and there is a video of that which we didn't include in the piece, but which I will show you when we get round to investigating that. The bike does run well, but I did buy this bike some years ago already restored, and although we found 1 or 2 minor issues with the engine, I don't know whether the engine was fully rebuilt or not. I've had to replace one of the tappets where the thread was a bit dubious, and also the primary chain tensioner because the thread on the pull rod on that was stripped. But other than that, it's been running very well, and the oil pressure is fantastic on it. So we know the bottom end's good, but with respect to the smoke, as usual, it'll either be rings or valve guides. So what we'll do this month is get on with investigating that and take the top end off the Rocket 3, because what we want to do is correct that problem before we then use it further this year, particularly for an event that I'd like to attend with it in the summer, which I'll come on to in a moment. So we've definitely got some work to do on the Rocket 3, but again, it won't be too much of a job because getting the top end off this with the motor in situ is pretty straightforward. And then finally, we've come on to the Fury SS, and we're in the process there at the moment of trying to secure a company to manufacture a couple of gears from factory drawings. If you remember, we found a problem with this where it's been eating dogs on one of the gears because one of the gears wasn't hardened properly. And we've also found an issue with respect to different revisions of that gear. So we're going to have some, if possible, manufactured to the final P30C, P30D drawings, which was the final revision of those gears, and get it done properly. And I just want to say thank you to those that have suggested companies that will be able to undertake that sort of small job as a one-off. I've got several in my back pocket now that I can try, but there is one company that I'm liaising with at the moment that's just actually pricing that job up, so we can get on with it. So that's going to be a bit of a long-term job to complete, because I'm sure that they've got plenty of work on, the companies anyway, and most of them are quoting quite long lead times. But anyway, that's not a problem. We've got to get it done properly. So let's make sure we get those gears made up to drawing, and more importantly, hardened properly. The process of which is actually specified on the drawings as well. So that's good news. So those are the bikes at the moment, as is. But the other news then is some initial plans for 2022. So the first thing to mention is that I don't think I'm going to be at Stafford in April because it clashes with one or two family events pertaining to significant birthdays this year. So I don't think I'll be at Stafford in April, but I will try and aim to be there in October, I think. I'm not sure whether I'll put a couple of private exhibits in or whether I'll have a stand, but certainly we'll aim for the October one. And the other shows and events that I've got, or I'm targeting at the moment, are firstly Founders Day again at Stamford Hall, which I think is around about July time, and also the Trident Rocket 3 Owners Club are intending to hold their Beesumph rally this year back at Cadwell Park, which I always enjoy, so we'll be aiming to attend that. And that's one of the reasons why we want to sort the Rocket 3 out, because although I've attended Beesumps relatively recently, I've not actually ridden on the track for a little while. So the intention will be to see if we can get the Rocket 3 done and run in sufficiently, if required, to ride that at Beesump, as well as attend it with maybe one or two other bikes in the collection as well. And then the final event that I've also been asked to support again with the BSA Owners Club is the Classic Motor Show at the NEC again in November, so I'd like to do that. The final plan to mention this year is that I'm going to sort out some of my stash and sell off those items that I've purchased in the past when considering potentially what bikes I might be interested in the future, before I focused my attention all on the power set collection. So I'm going to start advertising some of these in eBay, and for instance, you can see in the centre of the top shelf there's a 1974 TR5T Triumph tank, which is the Trophy Trial Stroke Adventurer. That's in factory paint and in immaculate condition, and there's also an Avenger tank behind it in the blue. And there's other items up there as well, which are for motorcycles, which I'll not now be pursuing. There's also one or two parts from the power set builds that are superfluous now to requirements. So I think on the other side over there in the corner, you can't quite see it really behind the push bike, is there's a seat base foam, and there's also an original brand new cover from the BSA subsidiary, beginning with M, that I can't quite, not Motad, but anyway, they're accessories and parts subsidiary, Motorpla. There's a brand new original seat cover there, so I'll be selling things like that off. I think I've also got a Triumph Avenger complete exhaust system, well, the big dual one that was on the Triumph Avenger, and also on the last batch of B50 MXs that were built in 1973, the last BSAs to be built at Small Heath. So there's quite a few bits and pieces there that I'll be wading through. Again, I'd rather pass those on now to people that will find them helpful to their restorations and collections, etc. Right, the final thing to mention is that I said earlier that I might return the Bandit behind me back to Tony Page, and that's because there'll be a new project coming in 2 or 3 months' time. So we'll be doing a reveal then, and that's going to keep us busy later in the year with respect to kicking that off. So I won't mention what that is just now, but I think arrangements have been made and a bit of a deal has been done, and so there'll be an addition coming in to the power set range, which will keep us pretty focused and motivated as well. So lots to crack on with. Keep on top of the existing bikes, sort this out, but then get ready for the new project, which will enable us to use up some of the stash and not just components, but things like Dove Grey paint powder, etc., that we've already got in stock, and be able to we should be able to crack on with that project pretty quickly once it arrives. So I think that's about all for now, everyone. Thanks very much for the continued interest, support, comments, etc. And also thanks for the likes and subscriptions. And we've got plenty to do, so 2022 is going to be pretty busy. Hope to see some of you at events across the year. Always look forward to that, and I'll keep you posted as to what I'm definitely going to be attending nearer the date. Want to make sure that it doesn't clash with anything else that's going on. That's it then, everybody. Thanks again. See you again soon when we start to crack on with the Rocket 3, and take care. Cheers. Bye bye.